rushing into my spot, so I didn't turn my microphone on, but I got a sign-in hunt only here on some public ground. They don't normally hunt. They've hunted the last couple years. Running late to get in, but it was crappy weather all day. Just now calming down. I know where some good rubs right here. So we're gonna get set up and see what happens. He's feeling pretty aggressive right now, so I gave a nice quick loud calling sequence to break the stuff around me and everything out. Got set up pretty quick. We got about 40 minutes or so hunt time. It's probably the only time I'll call tonight. I already seen a doe right out there by them rubs when I was walking in, running across the road. So I'd say that the other runners probably ran her out of the opposite side of the road. We're set up watching this little ravine now, trying to catch them. Crossing the road heading to feed, so we're gonna start watching, see what happens. Good morning. Set up out here on this deer reduction hunt, public land. It's November 8th, almost 7 o'clock. I don't have a crap ton of time to hunt today or anything. I can only hunt until about 9:30. I got a tree job, of course, I gotta go conquer. But I'm really confident in this morning's setup. I got myself set up down here in the bottom of these converging ridge lines right in this little thermal hub. Got in super early this morning, and I'm placing my bet that all the deer was out on feed. I seen some deer out and about on my way in, and nothing blowed at me or nothing coming in here. I didn't hear nothing bust off when I come in here to set up. Ridge lines on either side of me are open, and I got a campground directly behind me, and the wind's blowing right straight that way, right towards the campground. So I got a really ideal wind for this spot. And they've only hunted this spot the last couple years. The last buck I killed in 2023 was on further that way, across a couple more fields. And last year, there was big grubs up here, and Dad had a trail camera on and got pictures of some pretty nice bucks. And I know for a fact that the deer come down into this bottom, into this cover to bed during the day, so I'm pretty confident in today's setup. I think I may be able to get it done. Got myself up in this hackberry tree. I think that's got a little young beech behind me breaking up my cover. I looked around for a while this morning to make sure I found a good tree with good cover to get up in. I'm feeling pretty confident. Broke a couple sticks on the way in, kind of gave some soft grunts to cover my noise, make them think it was a buck or something. I feel like I'm starting to hear some stuff moving, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the camera turned around. It's just now breaking daylight. See if we can't catch them either moving through here, chasing the doe or something. I know they like to push them up against these creeks and stuff when they're chasing, so. And I'm in a pretty thick area here that I feel like I'm pretty confident I can kill one right here, so. Sit back and relax and see what happens. Well, I just seen my first deer of the morning, but she busted me somehow. I don't even know how. There she's blowing at me some more. It's not blowing that way. I think I still see her over there. I don't know. I don't know how the hell she managed to bust me. I did just cough. I got a cough I just cannot get rid of. I brought cough drops with me today and everything. Frustrating. I don't know how she would ever smell me, or she had to heard me cough or something, see me move, so. Some pretty good cover, so I don't think she could have spotted me. My wind should be going the complete opposite direction of them. So she had to hear me cough. Not over yet, though. My thermals was swirling. Had that side by side, or quad or whatever, just come through the campground, just on them behind me there. Not sure what they're doing. Had that doe blow at me already. I'm thinking about banging my rattling antlers together just for shits and giggles. I mean, I know we're getting into the rut and stuff, so I mean, either it'll work or it won't. I think it's worth a try, though. I'm assuming that's how that doe busted me. Once I seen that buck, I tried to grunt at him, and I gave it about 15 minutes. Then I hit my rattling horns again, just like lightly, kind of like a spar. But my thermals are still pulling right up that ridge. Really, really debating on whether to move up. But it's really calm today. And I just don't think I can. I don't think I can get up there quietly enough. So I think I'm just gonna stick it out where I'm at for now. Now it's starting to settle down, the wind's starting to blow in the direction it's supposed to be. And I'm going to just kind of see what happens, and I'll make note of that. Now down here would probably be a good spot tonight, down at the bottom of this ridge. I'd really like to kind of move up there, but like I said, it's just too calm. And I got that tree job I gotta go do here in about an hour or so. By the time I got down, moved up there, got set back up, I'd probably have about 30 minutes to sit there. I just don't see a whole lot of point with it being as calm as it is. Still got about an hour hunting time. I think I'm just gonna stick right here. They were chasing, it looked like, so maybe they'll circle around and come back down in here to bed down on one of these ridge lines. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Look at that beautiful view, though. I have down through this ravine. Fog rolling up. Just can't be being out here. There's still hope one could come down through here. Tailing a doe. It is the rut, and you never know what could happen. I guess that is unfortunately going to do it for my morning hunt. Wasn't a complete bust. I did see some deer, but the wind's not doing what I wanted. I gotta go work that tree job, so I'm gonna go ahead and climb down, go get my tree job done, and try to get back out here after him this afternoon. Hopefully the wind's a little more cooperative. I feel like we learned something, you know. I'm trying to be optimistic. Hopefully we'll have some better luck this evening. I might walk up this hill just a little ways and see if there's any sign up on the top where I seen them deer. Maybe pick me out a spot for tonight. Who knows, maybe a doe run a buck by me while I'm up there. You never know. Sometimes there's been a couple times I've got down and moved, and when I was moving, it's like the does. I think the does try to bring the bucks by you to get them off of them. So I'm gonna pack it up, head out, and we'll be back out tonight. Well, kind of just as I suspected would happen. I made my way up here, and these deer was still up here in this field, and I actually had a buck at about 40 yards. Tried to call at him, but he circled back into the woods. Got my wind. I seen another buck out in the field, or maybe the same buck going away. Tried calling at him, and he'd come in for a minute acting interested, and then he turned around and changed his mind, and then he just took off the opposite direction. He was just completely ignoring me. But tonight, I'm gonna set up right here, somewhere. I don't know where. Right here, watching this back corner of this field. So all them ducks was in here running. Hit the winds. I'm gonna get my wind right, and I think I got a good chance tonight. Kind of glad it didn't happen right then anyways, because I just had to leave my camera. I don't have a tripod, so I had no way of filming it. So, close. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Well, I was able to rock out my 2 walnut removals super fast. Made those trees my, yeah, well, you know what I'm saying. Able to get back out here. Not the wind blowing out in this field, but I think if they come from behind me from this other field, across this ravine, we'll get out here working any of these scrapes that I found this morning. I got a really good opportunity of getting a shot at one. And if they come down the field, the last place I seen them was going towards this little access lane over here, which the wind is blowing this way away from that, which is really great. I'm thinking they went that way, probably bedded down with their does. Hopefully they'll get up before too long and they'll come making a pass back through here. And when the thermals start hitting, I'm hoping they'll be pulling my scent down the ravine. Hopefully I didn't shoot myself in the foot sitting up here where I seen that buck this morning. Wasn't able to get it on film because I don't have no tripod or nothing on me, but this morning when I walked up the hill, I walked right up, got within like 40 yards of that buck and didn't know it, and tried to call him in, and he circled around, and he actually, the last place I seen him, all of the deer went that way, which is upwind. So I'm really hoping at some point tonight they come back through chasing or something. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot of calling tonight. I'm just going to kind of let them do their thing. I know they're in here chasing already, and if I see one, I'll probably call at it. Got high hopes. I'll watch this field and this ravine behind me. Hopefully them bucks come back out here, give me a shot. Stay tuned. Hot dog. All you gotta do out here. It looks like she's feeding my way. I hope a buck follows her. Nice. Just gonna let this doe bring me a buck. Well, I just watched this guy that I didn't even know was over here. I was wondering what all them does was looking at. The guy over here just busted a doe. I heard the crossbow go off, and I seen the deer freaking pile up, just spraying blood. Looks like a doe. Still a bunch of does out in the field, and I don't know if he's planning on getting down. I was wondering what busted all them does out earlier. Apparently he did walk back in here. This other doe's going to check it out. Check this out. Out here nice and early on this rainy morning. Got in here well before daylight again today, about an hour before daylight. I'm climbing myself way up high to the tippy top of this sycamore tree. Got me a really great view of this field. All them deer was out feeding last night, and I seen a pretty decent 8-pointer, good enough for me to shoot with my recurve. Out there chasing does. When I tried to grunt at him, he just circled around them does and herded them all back off in the woods. Then some hunter over there shot at her. Shot one of them, I don't know. He said he's going to come back today and look for it. I don't see how, because it poured down rain all night, so good luck trailing that, buddy. Hopefully you didn't just kill that deer for no reason. This property's a sign-up-only hunt with designated parking areas, not really designated hunting areas. You can kind of hunt wherever you want, but, you know, being a fellow hunter, when you sign up for a designated parking area like that, it kind of helps to know where the other hunters are going. So, you should have the morals to know to hunt around that area instead of bouncing around and ruining everybody else's hunting. We got to do better as hunters, to be courteous to each other. Anytime I pull up to a piece of public and there's a couple cars there, I do my very best to try to chat it up with them. I'm not keeping no secrets from them. I'm just like, where you guys heading? You know, I want to coordinate with you. I want to be cordial, and I want us all to enjoy the experience and not to be a freaking fighting match every time somebody wants to go hunting on public land. Every single hunter I've seen in here shooting crossbows. Young guys shooting crossbows. Let me just say, if you are able to physically draw a real bow and you're shooting a crossbow, you've got soft hands. That wind is absolutely howling now. I had 2 bucks. One of them was a super mega giant across the field where I planned on setting up this morning, but I just didn't think the wind was right. I thought about setting up over there a lot. In fact, I looked at a tree over there for a long time thinking about setting up in it. But there's a ladder stand over there, and I really didn't want to set up and have the other hunter walk in and climb up in a stand by me. So I decided to come over here to this point, so that way if the wind would be blowing out in this field, but by the time they got into my wind, if they walk along the edge of this field, it'd be too late. And of course, I seen 2 nice bucks over on the other side of the field where I planned on setting up. Never fails. It never fails. I tried to rattle at the one. He was working a scrape pretty aggressively. Tried to get my camera on him. I don't know if I got any footage of him whatsoever. Probably not, through the brush. I set myself up here in some thick cover and now we got hurricane force winds and good golly, about blowing me out of the tree. I tell you what, man, hunting can bring you the highest of highs sometimes, but it can also bring the lowest of lows. There's still time though, hopefully the weather don't get too god-awful bad and I can sit it out until at least 10 o'clock or so. Then I gotta go put some estimates in on some tree jobs. Got these 2 scrapes underneath of me, so it's been raining hopefully, and I got a bunch of scrapes around me. So, I don't know, hopefully he'll come around this edge of this field wanting to work these scrapes too. Guess we'll have to wait and see. There's some nice bucks running does all over the opposite side of this field where I thought about setting up this morning and didn't. Got a flock of turkeys out there now. Every one of them bucks, every time I hit a call at one of them bucks, they just turn and go the opposite direction. And the last time, it was like 30 or 40 minutes since the last time I seen that pretty nice buck running the doe. About 40 minutes after that, I tried to grab my rattling antlers and maybe get them up, and as soon as I clacked the rattling antlers together, I looked out in the field, and here they come running across the field, out where I couldn't get a shot at them. Frustrating. And I kind of want to move over there, but I know the moment I do, they'll come over to this side, because that's just the way it goes. It never fails. So I'm just going to stick it out. Hopefully, eventually, that doe brings them over to this side. .903. They're chasing, like you would think you'd be able to elicit some kind of response with a call, something, anything. But the moment you hit the call, they just turn to go the opposite direction. So, I guess I'm done calling in here. I ain't gonna call at them anymore. If I see him, I ain't making a freaking noise. Dead silence. And hopefully that doe just get out in this field and start doing circles and run one of them by me. I don't know what to do. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're on our way back in. 2 p.m. November 9th. This morning, walking out, I jumped that buck and doe laying right here off that ridge line. They went that way. And I'm assuming they didn't go very far, let it down up there. Wind coming basically right in my face. I'm trying to get up in there and watch where they was crossing that field. I'm trying not to get to where I can shoot to the field, but I don't want to be so far where if they come down the ridge line, that ridge line there, come through there, when the thermals start pulling down that hill. I'd like to be able to catch them if they do that as well. We're going to ease our way in here nice and slow. See what we can do. Alright, we're set up out here. High winds today. That wind is just howling. But it's blowing right back towards my truck. All day today, or all morning anyways, those bucks was cutting across this corner right here, coming through this woods. I'm betting that buck and doe, when I jumped them up, they didn't go very far that way. I got me a really nice maple tree picked out here, double maple. Makes for good cover, and I got a view of the field and a view of where them bucks are coming through here. And if that buck and doe come up this ridge line heading out for the field like they was several times this morning, even if they get into my wind back there, I think I can get a shot at that buck before he winds me too hard and, you know, bounces out. Super windy today, like I said, so my entry was completely silent, and my setup didn't make a single noise. I never heard a deer bust out or nothing like that. And I'd say usually right about dark you get a lull in that wind for just a minute before the dark sets in, like right at sunset. And I bet you I get a chance at one of them bucks tonight. Something I found kind of odd this morning was the buck that I seen, which it could have been a different buck and doe. I mean, definitely could have been a different buck and doe. But the buck and doe that I seen up by my truck on the way out, that buck looked smaller. It looked like that second buck I seen, kind of a medium size, like 120, 130 inch maybe. 8-point. The tall rack buck I seen right here, just 5 yards from where I'm sitting now, that buck looked big, like 150, 160 inch deer. Not that I'm an expert on scoring them or anything, but just from what little I know, that first buck that come over here and worked that scrape and stuff was smaller than the buck that was actually with that doe. Which, you know, I have heard in the past that the biggest buck is not always the dominant buck, you know. Maybe that big buck old and that younger buck whoops up on him, you know. Which might also be why that big buck didn't really respond when I rattled at him. He just turned and walked off in the woods. I've got a great wind tonight though, so I know those bucks are in here chasing does or hanging out with does. Hopefully they're not locked down too hard. I'd say it'll be a pretty quiet night until that sun starts to go down and we get that lull in the wind. But you just never know. It is the rut here in Indiana, so as always, anything could happen. There's a turkey out here behind me. Deer do love following them turkeys around, so that's not a bad thing. She's calling too. I might call at her just for shits and giggles, just to see if I can't. You get a flock of turkeys around here, then, and I can sit here and hold still, them deer's gonna think everything's perfectly safe right here. It's not. No cold Drexel tonight. Wrong again. I kind of thought maybe I should go over and set up where I was this morning, but I mean, there's still hope they could come this way too. I already got a doe and a pretty decent, looks like 8-pointer. I would for sure shoot that buck with my recurve bow. Like, they're already out in this field feeding. I'd probably call at him, but statistically speaking, every deer I've blew a call at out here just went the opposite direction. Now that being said, I kind of had thought about learning from my mistakes this morning, and if I can, I'm thinking about maybe getting down and trying to put a stalk on it, but I feel like it'd be better to wait it out, and hopefully they'll end up feeding my way. Definitely not a huge buck, decent tall racked 8-pointer. I got a good wind, so they'll never know I'm here. Hopefully they make their way this way. Well, it seems like something spooked them out of the field. The doe stayed, but he up and headed back in the woods, probably from the same way he came. I'd almost be willing to bet that other hunter come in and he picked up his wind, because I bet that other hunter went the same way he went this morning. Which is great for me, because if that big buck and that doe were locked down, bedded in that gully, I got a feeling that guy will push him my way. I'd love to see him come down the edge of this field or through the woods, either way. Still early and we already got deer feeding out in the field. Already seen one okay buck. I don't know if I'd have shot him. He's kind of little. Nice recurve buck, I guess. I don't really want to shoot nothing. Need to shoot nothing enormous. But I would like to shoot a decent buck. It's a good sign. It is getting frigid out here. The bottom has absolutely fallen out of the temperature. I've had does and that one basket rack buck out in the field, while the basket rack left in a handful of the does heading towards where I think the big buck was bedded. I set myself up to be able to shoot low here, but I want to be able to shoot the field and the top of this ridge right where it drops off. And I'm hoping I didn't shoot myself in the foot and that they're not running the bottom, which they very well could be right now. It's windy. With that being said, I've had deer out in this field the whole time. And I'm hoping that here before too long, we get that lull in the wind. And that really gets some activity started. I've heard some woodpeckers and stuff yelling back towards the truck. So, if I don't end up seeing that nice buck tonight, I think it was actually two pretty nice bucks, because the one had a really tall rack, and the one looked like about a medium-sized 8. If I don't see them, I'm going to say I messed up by setting up here to be able to watch this field. Thankful that I took the time to go get a bunch of hot hands before my hunt tonight, otherwise I'd be in really rough shape. I got them in my gloves and my boots. One in my belt, one by my belly, and one on my back. Total lifesaver. I did have a doe come out back here. Not really downwind, but close. And I think she fed her way over the rise. So I'd say she's just right over there somewhere. I lost sight of her. That basket rack 8 was acting kind of skittish out there. He kept like running out and then running back for the woods and running around and running back for the woods and kept looking over there. But then he eventually went that way, so I'm not sure if there's that big buck over there with a hot doe or